And let's head to Petco Park Live, where we find the one and only Harold Reynolds, who is in San Diego. H, set the scene for me. What's going on, my man?
Oh, man, this is San Diego. I mean, you got the setting, you got the river, the ocean behind you. It's beautiful. But let me tell you about the Combine. Second annual, like you're talking about, we put a little spin in it today. We took a bunch of the players to a homeless shelter. The Lucky Duck down right near the ballpark. Spent some time down there, and a lot of players got a chance to tour that, spend time seeing really, you know, this country's going through a serious homeless problem. And just being able to see these guys react and understand what is going on. This is the next generation of baseball players, the next wave. It was a powerful way to start the morning, and I'm very thankful to Pat Kilkenny and Peter Seidler, the owner of the Padres, who founded this, and we just had a chance to take a lot of players down there. It was a great time, great tour.
I like it. I like it. What baseball executives are there to peep things out?
Well, you know, they're all over it. Last year we had, I think, 5 or 6 general managers. This year we got more. Everybody's sending their GMs, their player development guys, everybody. The biggest thing being you get a chance to have meetings with the players and get to know them on a personal side. I got a chance to catch up to Mike Rizzo, the general manager and president of the Washington Nationals. Here's a little taste of that.
Oh, I love it. It's a great event that they put on here. It's so valuable to the scouting community. You know, it really puts an emphasis on preparation for the draft. You know, these are big decisions we make here. You know, scouting and player development are the foundation of a good organization, and this is the beginnings of how you scout players.
You know, what I like about it is that you got the college player and the high school player on the field at the same time. That's the uniqueness of our sport. So you don't usually get that opportunity to see them both. Is that something you value?
Yeah, it's great. It's it's kind of one-stop shopping. You know what I mean? It's you get to see a lot of the top flight athletic baseball players that are going to be instrumental in this year's draft in one place. And you know, the good thing that MLB did is we get to interview them, we get to talk to them, we get to interact with them, which is we've already scouted them in games during their leagues, during their conference tournaments, and that type of thing. So this is just kind of emphasizing the personal part of the scouting, getting to know the players, getting to know their makeup and what makes them tick, and just getting to interact with them is really important.
Yeah, I've spent a little time talking to some of the players, and I've said, just be yourself. They're going to ask you a lot of questions because that process is so important, the interviews. I'm curious, from your seat, what do you want to see or hear from a young man when you're talking to him?
Well, I think that's, I love the introduction part of it. If I have never met the player before, that's a fun part when the first time you meet the player and how he looks at you and what his kind of his attitude is and his energy level and that type of thing. And when I talk to a player, I like for him to ask me questions. That's an important part of the interview process for me. As I always ask him, do you have anything for me? Any questions for me or our organization and or baseball in general, and it's there's such unique responses that you get back from these players. It's really they teach me something every time I walk into that room with them.
The next couple days we'll have the medicals. Guys are doing it now, but mainly ramps up tomorrow. We'll carry that on TV, and then Friday is on the field. Yeah. Ground balls, pitching, all that type of stuff. That excites me because it's great TV for the sport. I'm curious, as you sit there, obviously you've seen guys play games, but what are you watching during workouts?
During the workouts, I think that for an infielder, as you're well versed in, is you're looking at footwork and arm angles and athletic ability and agility and what's their first step quickness like and that type of thing. Arm strength, arm accuracy. Can you throw from different angles on the run and what type of athletic position that you're in on defense and how the ball looks off the fungo and how you feel the ball and that type of thing. So those are all things that we look at. There's how do you handle after you boot a ball? What I mean? How do you react after you strike out in one of these games and that type of thing. I think it's all goes into the equation of what players to take and when you should take them and that type of thing.
Last thing, and I'll let you go here. I'm thinking we got all these general managers come in. You got your scouting directors, farm directors get a chance to be in one place. you develop relationships with other GMs that may lead to trades or different things down the road in these situations?
Sure. We're fortunate in the game now. The GMs get to meet on several occasions during the season. With the GM meetings and usually when you're playing on the road, you go visit the home GM. So there's ample ways to communicate and talk, and obviously being in one centerpiece like you are here with other GMs around, it's beneficial because we all have relationships together, and the more communication you have leads to better things.
Hey, Fran, so one of the things that came out of the collective bargaining agreement was what we call the rocker rule now. Remember last year the Mets drafted Rocker, and he did not get signed because his medicals didn't pass what the Mets felt were up to par for them. So what they've added here to the Combine is every player who comes to the Combine now and does his medicals here and he gets drafted, 75% of that money is now guaranteed because all 30 clubs are sharing those medicals. Good. And so I was talking to one kid, Fran, I don't know how you are in MRI machines, but, man, I'm sorry. I'd have been, I can't do this. No. Too claustrophobic, man. They're going through it. They're doing it. But I'd have been out. I'm sorry. I'd have been out.
Hey, well, what are you looking forward to seeing most the next couple of days?
Obviously, watching the talent, seeing guys hit, seeing them take ground balls, the speed, and just seeing, like I talked with Mike about, seeing the college player on the field with the high school player. It's just the uniqueness of our sport. You think about, you're seeing Adley Rutschman now in the big leagues, and he's playing against Bobby Witt Jr. last week. Those two were 1-2 in the same draft. And nobody does that in other sports like we do here in baseball. So that's very unique. And so that's what is cool about the Combine here, seeing those guys compete on the same field.